Motion by Mari, second by Jen. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have an agenda. I don't believe there are any changes.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for the January 27th, 2026 meeting.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Jen, second by Shayna, to approve this evening's agenda as presented. Any discussion or changes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. For this evening, our celebrations and school reports, we have first with us the yearbook team. We have Sherry Carlmark and students. You want to come on up to the microphone up here?
Thank you, School Board, for inviting our students from the yearbook staff here today to speak to you about the award that we received this year from the book last year. I'd like to introduce to you Kendra Blonster. She's our current editor-in-chief, and she was part of the yearbook staff last year. We have Liz Hart, who is our photography editor this year and was also part of the book last year. Catalina Pons Perez was a designer on our book last year, and Katie Simpson, also a designer on our staff from last year. So with that, they are to present.
Hi, I'm Kendra Brewster. So I'm going to talk about the Jostens Gold Level Award. It's right here that we earned. The Gold Level Award is a national recognition given to yearbook programs that meet high standards in journalism, design, photography, and storytelling. The gold level is the highest level awarded, and it recognizes schools whose yearbooks demonstrate strong coverage of student life, consistent design, accurate reporting, and professional quality photography. Receiving the gold level award is something that not many schools achieve, and I think Ms. Carlmark said there's only 2 in Minnesota. So it means our yearbook meets national standards, not just local expectations, and we are just really honored to be recognized nationwide.
I'm going to talk about why we earned it and what we did to earn it. This is just an example of the cover of our last year's yearbook. To earn this reward, our class, or our staff, which is student ran based, we worked all year and met strict criteria, which means turning in pages on time and going to basketball, hockey, speech events to take photos for. This included covering all student groups and activities, meeting and maintaining consistency in design and layouts. We also focused on photography, clear writing, name spelling, any type of words that were misspelled, and layouts that reflect our school community. Every page we had was required teamwork, which included problem solving and attention to detail skills, used journalism, graphic design, and media arts. And last year our title was A Year Worth Watching, which was a parody of Netflix.
For us, why it matters is that this book showcases our hard work, determination, and just being proud of our school and our community. We take pride in our school, and for me personally, it was important to the school, and I loved being part of it because it gave me a purpose and made me feel accomplished.
Hello. So for me, it was really important because it taught me to include a lot of other people and also to participate in things that I would have never participated in before.
This award matters a lot to me because it just showcases our hard work, and it's really rewarding, and I have a lot of fun in yearbook, but knowing that other people thought we did good was rewarding, and I just love working as a team and just being in yearbook class.
And why it matters to me is because you get to meet new people and explore new things like categories. I would have never done photography if I never would have joined a yearbook. And we all want to thank you guys for supporting student programs like the yearbook. And this recognition reflects both student dedication and district support for the arts and media education.
Do you have any questions, board members?
I do. What grade are you in now, and how long have you been part of the yearbook?
We're all seniors.
Oh, you are?
Last
Okay.
year we were juniors.
All right.
You have to be a junior.
Oh, you do, okay.
I can say, because right now, you'll realize like in the future that what you've been able to accomplish is important when it's part of like a historical record of things. I've been going through Fairmont yearbooks is a project. I'm trying to compile the score of every Fairmont football game ever played. And I can tell some years there was a great yearbook staff, and some years it was a bit of a mess. So you can be glad that when people look at it back in the future that they will recognize that y'all did a fantastic job. So thank you for that.
One of the neat things too is like that plaque is going to be there forever. So when you come back for your class reunions in the future and think of your time, like that'll be a great memory and an example really to set for every yearbook staff that follows your group. It's just remarkable, and we actually have 3 of that yearbook at our house because it's the one year that we had our family. We had 3 of our kids at the junior senior high school, and they all got one. So definitely a job well done, and great job preserving the memories of last school year for that yearbook, for all of the students that were involved in it, and just overall great job. Super proud of the work you've done.
Thank you.
Well done.
And now this evening, we also have Eric Walker here with some students to discuss the debate team.
So visibly, the season was a little different this time. I'm going to be brief because she's really comfortable. We had a great season. Lots of records set this season. We had people in the top ranks among debate teams in the state. We got to debate 2 exciting topics. I'm going to give most of the airtime to Leah to talk about the topics that they got to debate this year, the program records that we'll set, and then if they miss anything to celebrate about themselves, I'll swoop back in at the end and make sure to hit it. So, go ahead.
I'll start. I'm Belle Luderman. I'm a senior, a captain of the debate team, and I joined my 9th grade year. So every season we get to debate 2 topics. The first one is kind of seen as like a warm-up topic to get everybody back into the season. And so our first topic was Minnesota should legalize sports gambling. And so the cool thing about debate is you have to debate both sides. So you have to take both the pro and con stance and understand the 2 sides to that argument. We do 3 tournaments with that topic before we transition kind of over the NEA break to our second topic. This year, our second topic was, as resolved, the United States should substantially reduce its military commitments to South Korea. And so with that topic, we did 3 regular season tournaments before participating in the state tournament that was hosted at Two Rivers High School in December. The classic debate is a singular class activity, meaning that we were competing against schools like Eastview, those larger metro schools, as well as kind of the private schools in that area, like Mounds Park Academy are some notable programs. And so we saw lots of success throughout the 3 divisions of novice, JV, and varsity. I feel like I'll transition to someone else.
Hello, I'm Leon Yang. I'm a junior, and this is my 4th year in debate. And yeah, just going off of what my debate partner said, this year was a good year for us, and it was fun debating both topics. For topic 1, we found it especially nice because with that topic, there wasn't a big breadth of evidence. There wasn't a very large amount of evidence, which is good for us because we're a small school, and like big schools typically have more students so they can study more, and so they typically get more evidence than us. But because there wasn't as much evidence, we were more on an even playing field with those big schools. And yeah, we attribute some of our success to that. And then second topic, it was a foreign topic. We talked about something outside the United States, which I guess I wouldn't say I was uncomfortable with, but it was definitely something new, and not new, just like just something I had to get back into or like adapt to, I guess. So yeah, it was a good season, and I had fun.
Hi, I'm Nora Hiley. I'm a junior. This is my 3rd year of debate. Debate is really good. You learn how to research, you learn how to present arguments, and by having to debate both sides of the topic, you really have to kind of swap your mindset sometimes, but that's good, and it's a good skill just in life to know how to see various perspectives and to understand them. And it's challenging, but it's also really fun. I don't think I've ever been in a place where I worked my mind so hard but was having so much fun at the same time. And it's just an overall great activity. It challenges you, and as a smaller school competing against many city schools, it is a challenge, but I think that we're up to it, and I love it.
Hi, my name is Allie Strite, and I'm a junior. This is my 2nd year of debate. This year, my partner was one of our foreign exchange students for his 1st year of debate, my 2nd year of debate. So being able to do that with him and like learning with him, obviously, was very cool. At the state tournament, we had a lot of success this year. We had our first varsity team place to the top 8 teams. And then me and Jonas in the JV division, they take the top 18 for like those out rounds. Jonas and I ended up placing 19th. And then Nora and her partner ended up placing quite close to that threshold as well. As a lot of novice success. Cooper and Thor are one of our novice teams. They ended up breaking into that top 18 and getting into those out rounds. So just being that smaller school and having a lot of success throughout all of those divisions is very cool, especially as they talked about where we are that smaller school. So yeah.
Did you say we finished 8th in the state?
It's a quarterfinal, so technically it would be like 5th to 8th. You're in that like first elimination round, so 8th minimum.
Top 8.
Top 8, yeah. So, proud of that.
Yeah, and just as it hasn't been mentioned, our season looked a little bit different, obviously, with Mrs. Walker had the child actually the 2 days before the state debate tournament, and so we really applaud Mr. Walker's efforts for our team, even if it looked a lot different leading up to that tournament. He did a lot of prep work in helping us gather that huge research base, because we kind of all had to dive into a topic and just decide to become experts on maybe something that wouldn't have piqued our interest before. And so it was really cool at that tournament. My mom was our volunteer coach, and in between rounds, if we had questions, Mr. Walker was doing his best to be available to give us a phone call or text about our round to kind of keep us moving through that tournament. And it was really cool to be able to bring some hardware home even after having a different ending to our season.
When it comes to those actual events, you mentioned your partners up here. Are you always competing 2-on-2?
Yeah, so debate is always a 2-on-2 format. So you and your partner alternate speeches that are given within a round. There's 4 speeches, so each person gives 2 of those speeches.
So like you go and the other team goes and then you go?
Yeah, so it starts kind of opening arguments from both teams, then you move into 2 rounds of rebuttals before a summarizing statement from both sides.
Is the scoring geared towards, accuracy? Is it geared towards persuasiveness? Is it geared towards,
Yeah, so-
delivery and clearness of your? You can sound like you know what you're talking about and saying dumb stuff, and you can sound kind of poor in your presentation, but really know your they count that on the scoring?
Yeah, so there's 2 ways in which you're scored. So ultimately a win or a loss, right? You see that W or L, and that is based off of evidence that's presented in the round and the reason of the argument and the ability to follow it through, not dropping arguments or kind of straw manning, responding to a different version of it. So those are true arguments are assessed by the judge and reflected in whether you won or lost the round. Then from there, they move into a speaker point system where students are kind of scaled 1 to 10, but generally the range is a 7 to 10, and that reflects your presentation and kind of your persuasive sound, your style. And so those speaker points come into play as tiebreakers. So ultimately, your ballot or your record determines that breaking point, but then if there are ties, that's determined by speaker points as well.
So are they looking, like discussion and speech, or, are they looking for certain topics or like one-liners for and against the topic that they're expecting the teams to present? Or is it just more of a subjective feeling of who's winning the argument?
Yeah, we organize the arguments into contentions, which are the grouping of the main argument. And what good debaters would do in terms of having the judge assess the round is present to them what is the most important issue to vote on. So judges don't walk in with a clear idea of whoever wins this specific points of an argument wins the entire round. It's not only our job to, as debaters, to use evidence, but to also, we call it impact weighing, demonstrate that the points we've won are more valuable even against points that maybe our opponents have won. So it's a lot of kind of those higher academic skills that we start training in that novice division, where it doesn't quite look the same as that varsity level where it gets really jargon heavy to kind of explain.
How long do you have to prepare? Like, you get a topic, and then how long?
Yeah, so we get our first topic about the middle of August, and that first competition's in September. So we get those months to prepare our research base, and it's kind of a lot of, this is what we think will happen in a round, but there are times where you get totally kind of blindsided by unique arguments, and that's a strategy our team uses. We kept a whole entire argument that was kind of this off-skirt of the second topic, and saved it for an important prelim round at the state tournament that could have helped us clinch a ballot we needed to break. And so we get that preparation time to hopefully anticipate what other teams are doing, but it's not a perfect science. And there are times you'll just have to do your best without maybe an evidence base to back you up.
So the team has continued to grow.
Mm-hmm.
You come and share a little bit about the experience every year. And I've been in tune to what's been shared in past years, and I thought I had an idea of what all entailed, what you do in debate, but this has been super enlightening, just like the detail that you all give. And as students, it's so fun to see all of you come here with different lenses, because we get to see all of you in different contexts as well. All 4 of you were in the musical, correct? 3, so that's cool. Some of you are in sports right now, some of you aren't. Some of you, just the fact that this can be an added opportunity for you is just fascinating. And one question I have, so you mentioned technical skills.
Mm-hmm.
How important and what differences do you see in what I'll call essential skills as you are working through a debate, like your own emotional regulation and how you're monitoring your tone and body language and all of those things? Because I can only imagine when you're passionate about a side of an argument you're trying to defend or prepare, how describe what that's like and how you have to work through those components too.
Those skills are super valuable. There are definitely times where where you feel, okay, I have to kind of calm some tensions right now, because especially there is an open cross-examination period. So you stand up and you read a 6-minute speech, and they get half that time, 3 minutes, to just ask you questions. And it's pretty combative in terms of people want to win right off the bat. And so being able to find those moments where it's okay, I have to find a way to respond calmly to maybe a question that wasn't asked calmly, it can be difficult, but often judges always want to vote for and reward the people in the room who are kind of rising above any of those kind of combative arguments. Yeah, that professionalism is an important skill that you have to learn and comes with time.
It will be one that will carry through with all of you
Probably the most
and pay so many dividends as you continue to grow into your adulthood.
So how many of you are gonna go, how many people on the team are gonna go to law school?
I think it's just me as of now. But if you go to a debate tournament, it's probably like over half of those kids. So, yeah.
I have one last thing to add, well, two maybe. The previous record for the team was held, was 10th, which was held by Casey. We were just talking about Casey Brookins before this, so that was a long held record that we've been working toward. To the idea of keeping one school, Allie and I were talking just today or yesterday about how we couldn't believe how different two siblings are from another school, because one is so nice to be in cross-sex with, and the other one like spit on Allie a little bit by accident because he was just so angry in cross-sex. Not like good, but like just really into it. And so you see all kinds of, yeah, it's good. Being regulated.
Thank you once again for coming to share, and congrats on a great season.
And when it comes to your coaching, Coach Walker, I can say, when you talk about the little teams against the big teams, this year Casey's team in Grinnell has wins over Wisconsin, Madison, and the Air Force Academy. So apparently you guys do a pretty good job of teaching. So
Keeping that underdog complex going.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to our superintendent's report. Superintendent Tradow.
Thank you, Nicole. As you see, I prepared another report, our enrollment. At the start of the semester, this is relatively the norm, where we see a slight increase at the junior, senior high school of students coming in at semester time. So that is indicative in those numbers. Our net right now from where we were 2 weeks ago prior to the end of the semester is we're up 4 students. Our yearly net comparison to date, I added that metric to the report so you can start to see that. We are down 60 students from where we were a year ago. Just a couple updates. I've had a couple interactions with Blake Potoff, who's the director of the Fairmont Opera House. The last couple of summers, we've stepped in to support some summer youth and adult summer theater programming. We are able to do that. We were able to identify that the dates for the upcoming summer will once again work. However, the one thing that we have to keep in mind is future years are always uncertain due to our own operations and upcoming school projects with HVAC, the fire sprinkler system, and those things. So we may or may not be able to continue to support that in future years. Second, we've started looking at next year's school calendar for the 2026-2027 school year. That's still in the drafting phases. Operations committee last week got a chance to look at that and give some feedback. We continue to develop that. Last year, we did look back in the minutes. We approved that, I believe, at the first March school board meeting, so still aiming for that time frame, if not sooner, to be able to do so. And then along with the school calendar, an adjacent issue is we are beginning to start to research the topic of school start times, and we'll likely bring some of that research to an upcoming school board work session at a date to be determined that we would communicate with all of you to have a deeper discussion on that topic. One other thing with the calendar, the state legislature last year did grant all school districts in the state of Minnesota with where Labor Day falls in the calendar, the ability to start the school year on September 1st for the 2026-27 school year and the 2027-28 school year. Our current draft of the 26-27 school year does have us starting school on September 1st. Lastly, we were at the MSBA conference a little over a week ago. It was once again great to connect with vendors, other superintendents, and board members from other districts, as well as attend the learning sessions that were available. So just another good experience. And our next board meeting will be in a few weeks on February 10th, right here again in the Budroom.
Any questions for Superintendent Tradow? All right, thank you. We will move on to our financial business. Jessica?
Yeah, you have the pretty short wire transfer sheet in front of you. Nothing there, and then the payment register for the bills you're approving tonight, and there's not very many bills outside of our normal payments on that listing. So does anyone have any questions?
recommended that Will McAdams be hired as manager of information systems and aligns with the phased retirement of Lee Stewart effective February 1st, 2026. So I'll make a motion to approve employment of Will Adams, manager of information systems effective February 1, 2026.
I'll second it. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Item B, we have contract settlements. We have before you in Appendix A, Principals Association 2-year contract for the 2025-26 and 2026-27 school years. One note that I'd like to make is that there's a new stipend for a doctorate degree and a superintendent license increase. And I think this highlights how the district feels it's important for our educators to continue to be educated and to continue that lifelong learning path. The financial package increase was a total of 6.58% over 2 years. And those are the basic highlights that probably most of you are interested in. So I'll entertain a motion to approve it as presented.
Motion to approve it.
Thank you. The motion by myself, second by Mike. Any discussion?
Nicole and I were part of the bargaining group negotiation team. This was probably agreed to in principle, no pun intended, in the fall, maybe as far back as October or September. We just had a couple of really kind of nuanced, some like language changes that we didn't disagree on. We just wanted to make sure that we got it right. Like the ESST, some of the changes in the law. So I appreciate our principal team. You know, there's one, you know, as we know, there's one fewer person on that bargaining team than there was before. So while it's an increase year over year, it's actually quite a bit lower total comp in that package. And they were great to work with. I think, I mean, we're professional and honest. And like I said, this is something we've pretty much agreed to for about 3-4 months now. And I know I appreciate that. And speaking of that to Nicole, I wanted to note that for the record before we approve it.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, motion carries. All right, we will move on to records retention, item C, appendix C.
In that appendix B, there's a list of different types of records and bookkeeping that are done by school districts all across Minnesota. It is a very exhaustive list, and it involves everything from financial records to student records to correspondence with state agencies and whatnot. This used to be more of an issue back in the days when you actually had to store boxes of papers. Obviously now, with everything being able to be stored on tiny little chips, it's not as big of a deal. And in fact, I don't think that we've looked at this since I've been on the board in 2009, but we'll look at it now. And there are no changes from the Minnesota Historical Society or in different agencies in education about how long we need to keep records. Some of them are forever, and some of them are just a year or two, or until that time of the equipment that's owned is no longer in need. So I will make a motion to approve our school district general records retention schedule as listed in appendix B.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Deb, a second by Jen. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Item D, budget resolution.
All right, I will make a resolution. So every year we make a resolution directing the administration to make recommendations regarding budgetary reductions. In this particular case, these are reductions that are anticipated to actually happen. So this is not just a pro forma exercise, but a necessary step in the process. So I will make a motion that we adopt a resolution directing the administration to make recommendations for the school district dictates the school board must reduce expenditures, and whereas there has been a reduction in student enrollment, lack of sufficient funding, deficit spending, and increasing cost, and whereas with a determination must be made as to which licensed staff members' contracts may be terminated or not renewed, and which licensed staff members may be placed on unrequested leave of absence without pay or fringe benefits in effecting discontinuance of positions. Therefore, be resolved by the school board of Independent School District 2752 as follows. That after the school board hereby directs the superintendent of schools and administration to consider the discontinuance of programs or positions to effectuate economies in the school district and reduce expenditures, and as a result of the reduction in enrollment, make recommendations to the school board for the discontinuance of programs, curtailment of programs, discontinuance of positions, or curtailment of positions.
Thank you. I'll second that. So we'll open that up to discussion.
I would note that we talked about this at the operations committee. You should see that on your operations committee agenda kind of information sheet, item number 3. The range that we were talking is a 2 to 3% total budget reduction range, which is, I think, kind of aligned with what we were hearing from administration, what the numbers are kind of looking like. So Cole and I recommended a range, but this resolution isn't that specific range, but I think it's important for you to know that we're talking about a 2 to 3% type number, which is $600,000 to $900,000 ballpark, Jessica. Okay, so the resolution isn't a specific number. I want to be clear on that, but I do want to draw your attention to operations where the level of reduction that is concerning is out there. But we always want to do forecasting. What data do we have today? What does the data look like 6 weeks from now or 5 months from now? So we do this now to be prepared in the event that the current projections stay the same or get worse. The hope is, I will speak for hopefully everybody, we don't want to do any of this, but we need to be in a position to do so if it is prudent. So that's my spiel.
It is, I'll just add, when we do make these considerations, it is a thorough and exhaustive process. We look at every angle of revenue and expenditures that we have throughout the school district. We look at models for different angles for which to consider adjusting our expenditures. If there are areas where we can increase revenues along with that, we've been creative in developing some of that over the past several years, and we'll continue to do this, but it is a very detailed, extensive process that takes quite a bit of time to make sure that we go through it in a very detailed manner, and we're not simply making uncalculated decisions based on the impact that things can potentially have on our system. And it's not an easy process, and the impacts that it have are there, but not unnoticed or unconsidered in the process. So we will begin that process now with the formalization, depending the outcome of your roll call vote here.
I just wanted to mention, I'm disappointed I wasn't able to make the operations meeting that this was talked about, but we had power go out at our place of business right before I was ready to leave to come to the meeting. So that meant that I had to make sure that we got everything back up and online and running, which is not the most fun, but it's more fun than talking about budget cuts. So I'm willing and I'm looking forward to participating in the process to make sure that we exhaust every avenue that we have to make sure that we can keep those cuts as small as possible. And we will hopefully get more kids to come to Fairmont area schools, because that will also make a big difference in increasing our funding back. So my goal is to see those enrollment numbers go up. That would be the best thing that we can do.
That wasn't the day you were throwing hot water into the air and watching it freeze instantly.
I don't know what the power grid around
Couple
here
days
lately,
got
but
that out.
we need a lot of power at the radio station, and we've had a lack of it a couple of days, so a little frustrating.
Any further discussion or comments?
miss anything detail-based. We've heard Mahoney, Mr. Mahoney was at our meeting, we talked about a number of different opportunities for student programming, some procedural process things that haven't been reviewed in a long time, but some people are asking, so it's kind of looking, we always are looking, how do we compare to our neighboring schools and the schools with whom we compete, on everything that we're doing, and so he had some ideas for some things there. We talked about the calendar options. In the past, there used to be a lot more group committee work on the calendar that took up a tremendous amount of time. I think we've streamlined it now, and so as Amy mentioned, there's a couple of options that are percolating, so you'll see that within the same time frame that we see in the past. Yeah, I felt like we were there for a long time, but if there's any questions, let Nicole or I know.
Any questions? All right, then we move on to item 11.
I make a motion to go into closed session, purpose of statute 13D.03 for the purposes of superintendent's job performance appraisal and evaluation.
Good, motion by Mike, second by Laurie. Any discussion?
As in the past, what I think we would do is we go into closed session, we talk. Then we talk with Andy, then we come out of closed session, and then we adjourn the meeting, and then our next board meeting, we would do updates. I think, public updates. So, even if somebody wanted to wait around the hallway, we're not gonna come back and give an update. We're gonna adjourn, afterwards. So I think
Just so everybody knows.
just how unless anybody has a problem with that, that's been how we've done it for years. I think that's the best practice.
Okay then, all those in favor?